Hi, I'm Maureen Kures, and I am here with Kathleen Putnam, and we are both members of the Gentle Passage Doula Collection. And today, Kathleen and you and I are both facing the same loss coming up. We're both facing empty nest syndrome. Is that what it's called? Empty nesting. Kathleen's daughter is going off to be a freshman in college. Finally, my kids are moving out. Part of me thinks, thank God. But I have two that are going to be heading out to grad school, and
Mm.
that means we're going to be empty for really the first time in all of my kids' education. So how are you feeling about that, Kathleen? I've had kids go off to college before, and I know what it was like ripping my heart out, sending part of it with them. But you are sending your one and only.
Yeah, and it's bittersweet. It's like this mixture of being really proud and excited and having this vision that I can see all these possibilities and this excitement of like, I wonder what she's going to be like. I wonder how she's going to grow.
Yeah.
And then the other side of like, she's a big part of my purpose and my mission in life and my love. And that doesn't stop, but I know it's going to change. It's not breakfast every morning. It's not checking in. It's not running to the beach to see the sunset, which we did last night. And so everything becomes a lot more treasured and intense for me. While at the same time letting her know I'm fine, and I want her to go. And I know that the connection doesn't stop, but just kind of, yes, savoring every moment, but also, feeling the grief of that purpose. It's not the same.
You know, our roles as parents change and they become adults.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when my oldest, we dropped him off at college in Montana and pulling away. My youngest son was with me. My other son had football practice and he had stayed behind, but and my husband's stoic, and Adam was just, oh, and we
Oh,
were and crying, and Peter's like, oh, you guys, this is okay. I said, they're tears of joy, but also a sense of loss. It's just
yeah.
changing. And I remember finding my youngest son lying on his brother's bed
Oh.
one day, and I went in and I'm like, oh, I miss him too, and Adam. And he's like, oh no, I was just, in the bathroom and I was just tired for a moment. And so I thought I'd lie down. Well, his
Oh.
bedroom's like 10 feet further than his brother's bedroom. But, we all go through
Yeah.
this loss, and our roles change and they'll never be the same.
It's such a gift for you to give words to it and to normalize that, even though maybe he didn't want to admit it because our culture doesn't, and it potentially means that we're weak or we're doing something weird, but also just to be seen and to go, oh yeah, and you're not alone missing him.
Yeah.
I think that that's
Yeah.
such a gift as a mom. I remember you're reminding me, I'm in a family of five, and my oldest sister left, and she often took the role of parenting a lot of us. She's 10 years older than my younger sister and 7 years older than me, and I bawled and I had dreams about her, and she needed to come home and we needed to go see her. And um, and so that loss is in the entire family. It has a ripple effect for sure.
It really is. And uh, when my youngest son was heading off to college, it's funny, they head off, but one came home. uh, but I remember when they were little boys, whenever we'd see Mount Rainier, uh, they would yell, "Mommy, our mountain is out today." And Adam and I were driving home from Target. We were getting some college supplies, and there was Mount Rainier. And that summer, it was just beautiful views of Mount Rainier. We happened to be dead on, and I said, "Oh, look at Adam, your mountain's out in all her glory this summer as her, parting gift to you." And I just went, "Whoa!" I started crying. And I said, I'll be crying now. I cried for the next 2 weeks, but I said, they really are tears of joy. I wanted him to know that. I said, I'm going to miss you. And so that's why I'm crying, but they're tears of joy. I'm so excited to watch you grow into the person you're to become. And that, I feel confident with you going off, but it's still hard.
Yeah, and I think to just kind of continue to be present for that, so that I'm taking and reaching out to other parents whose kids are leaving and how are you doing? And we're sharing that, like, I don't know what's going to happen. And I remember for me, I wrap my mind around I can go visit her on a regular basis. And once I did that, there was this like, oh yeah, and with these things, we can be in touch and see their face and, really connect in a way that we couldn't with our own parents when we were going to
No.
school. So
Remember
feel great.
when I went off to college, it was too expensive to call regularly, so we'd have to wait till after
Yes,
11 p.m. at night when the
yes,
rates were at the
yes,
very
the
low.
rates. I do remember that. I have to
Yeah.
plug my computer in.
Well, I think that there's a lot of parents that are going to be going through this, and it's okay. It's natural. And the one thing I do want to say is we'll get through it. It becomes normal, although I have had a couple friends that have had a very hard time. Like one I encouraged to go to counseling because she just a year in, she just still couldn't. She was grieving so deeply the
Mhm.
loss of her child being in her home. And we have to be aware of the when it crosses over to something more than just
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And also like our identity, like the favorite is Tyler's mom said to me, she goes, "This is such an exciting time. You get to reinvent yourself now."
Yes,
And I was like, I love that framework. We do
yes,
it all the time as professionals, but I was like, oh yeah, kind of stepping into a different, like you said, your relationship changes, but then your relationship with yourself and what's ahead for me, just like what's
right.
ahead for her. Yeah.
Yeah. And then redefining your relationship more as adults instead
Yeah.
of mother daughter, which it will always be.
Right.
But now it's more of parent child in the adult role and watching them and then having these great adult interactions with them. And on Fridays now my boys and I were having Friday happy hour,
Oh yeah.
and I'm trying
Yes.
different fun
Exactly. That's
things,
so fun.
and now that they're all over 21 and my husband's never home at 5 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. and
Oh.
and as they've been home, especially my one that's been going through college at home this year. He and I have done it more, but my middle son is not. He just quit his job so that he can have a few months before he starts medical school to have some
Wow.
freedom,
Oh,
and
great.
so he's joining us now too. So it takes on a different role, and it's exciting. It's wonderful to watch them grow and see who they become.
Yeah, I have had that experience with my nieces and nephews where I'm calling them for advice. I'm like,
Yes.
can you tell me? I know you're doing, and it is so fun to see
Yeah,
that and get that richness of, that reward of them being adults and part of the family. Yeah.
I know it's so good. Well, one thing we know, we'll all survive it,
Yes. Yes.
and we
And
can
to
watch with bittersweet anticipation.
Yeah, and to normalize it and that it's a part of human life. And it's because, again, that grief piece is because of that deep love and
Yes.
connection. To have some of that grief is really normal.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
it is.
And
So,
you don't have to be alone.
no. Well, thanks, Kathleen, for talking
Thank
about this.
you.